Michael Bettine here for another episode of It's Cuppa Time. And today we're going to talk about shakers. Shakers of all types and shapes and materials. And talk about how to integrate those into your session with metal instruments. I guess the first thing we need to do is really take a little journey through history. I go way back to primordial man, early man. Nobody was there, so nobody really knows. There's no written records. We find some fossilized records of certain things, but other things, especially much more natural materials, have disintegrated long since then. But we can suppose that the very first instrument humans had was the voice. Whether they were just grunting or making sort of chanting sounds or singing or whatever, obviously I would say the voice was probably first because we had it with us. And it evolved over time into what we have today. All manner of singing and choral works and everything. Now, the second instrument was probably some sort of percussion, some sort of striking thing, either body percussion, early man striking themselves to get different sounds, or striking found objects that were just around them. Possibly two stones, click, 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 two sticks that they found, or two bones from an animal they had killed, or possibly the skeleton they had found. So striking those together to get a more percussive sound. And as things go on, obviously those two combined, voice and some sort of percussion. But another type of instrument that was probably very, very early was a rattle of some sort. Finding something like a dried gourd, some bigger sort of pod that had a thin shell and dried out and had seeds inside, and you could shake it and it would make a rattle sound. Or finding all the little seed pods, hard shells or pods from some sort of nut or fruit on the ground, maybe just putting them in your hands and shaking them, or rubbing them, or stringing them together with some sort of string, either like a grass string or a hide string, either stringing them and putting them in a long string that you could rattle and shake, or putting them on a handle, like a stick or a bone or something, and making a rattle that way. So that's sort of, just an early look at this type of sound. And it was really probably one of the earliest sounds that humankind used for whatever reason, for entertainment, for fun, for rituals, for ceremonies, anything was using rattles. And if we look back to among what I would call indigenous people in the past, people who were the medicine men or medicine women of the tribe, the shamans, these type of people, the Nagul, whoever, their primary instruments besides their voice would be some sort of a rattle and a drum. So these are the earliest instruments. And there's something, when you play these, that still has that primal sound, that sort of primordial calling. So I like to use them because they add a completely different voice to the metals. The metals have a certain sound, whether it's a gong, a bell, a bowl, a plate. It has that metalness to it. But the minute you pick up some sort of a rattle, you tend to get a more organic sound. That really connects with people. And it connects with me, and it brings me back to the past and just feeling it. So I've got this whole table full of different rattles and shakers. And I'm going to, talk about each one, play them, and then we're going to play the gongs and play some rattles with them. So what's a good place to start? Well, let's start with, again, I was talking about found things around us. Here's some very traditional maracas. I have had these I probably got these when I was like 12 or 13 years old in some sort of a percussion kit when I first started playing. These are from Mexico. It's just a gourd, painted gourd with a handle and seeds inside. There's very few seeds in it, and it's a thin shell, so you get a very bright sound. But this is probably one of the original types of rattles out there. Some sort of a gourd or that. Especially, you've seen the gourds with the sort of curly handle, the end of the gourd, so you wouldn't even have to put a handle on it. But dry it out, and you can shake it. So something like that. And then here we have a more modern version of maracas. These are wooden. Similar sound, kind of bright. A little thicker in the wood. And, of course, because it's different than a natural gourd, it's going to have a different character. Now, as I said, other things is people would find seed pods, or maybe they crack open seeds and nuts and then take the leftover pods and string them together. Here's one from Africa. I believe it's from Ghana. These are just small halves of seed pods, and they're strung together with natural fibers, plant fibers. I like to use this just for a real soft, sort of organic sound, almost like rushing water. Now the problem with these is, again, it's all put together with natural fibers, so these fall off. The little grass string breaks, and then after a session I'll find some of these on the floor or the table. Here's another one. These are from South America, probably, I don't know, Peru or somewhere. And again, just seed pods, nut pods. These are actually ankle bracelets for dancers. There's a Velcro, so you can put it on your ankle, and then when you dance, they shake. I like to use these. Again, kind of a rushing water sound. To me, they sound a lot like all the little sparrows in the bushes in my backyard when they're twittering. They're a very organic type sound. Now if we go to across the ocean to Africa, here's another type of seed pod, seed rattle. And these can get quite loud. So again, those sort of things really bring in an organic character that, to me, balances out the heavy metal sounds. Sort of a lighter organic sound. Some other shakers, a woven basket. The bottom is made of gourd. Got some seeds or shells or stones in it. Here's a double version. And then here's another one. This is from Cameroon. It's some sort of a plant fiber, not a tree. This is more like, it's almost like a, not quite a bamboo, but it's a plant stem. And then there's something inside. I have no idea what. Possibly rocks, seeds. So those are all natural type ones. And I mean, if you look on a percussion catalog or a percussion store website and look up rattles and shakers, you could find hundreds of variations. Because again, this is a very universal instrument that was made and used in probably most countries, most continents around the world. Okay, let's look at some more modern ones here. Here's a small shaker. It has a skin end. It's just a wooden barrel shape. Here's similar. It's wooden, but it has wooden ends. And then we have the ever popular egg shakers. Very soft and delicate sort of sound. I don't usually use these in a group situation, in a large studio or that, because they're so quiet. I might use them in combination with something else, have like 3 of them in one hand. But again, they're very quiet. Sort of a variation on that is the egg maraca. Same sort of thing, but with a handle. Or the ever popular fruit shakers. Remo makes a whole collection of fruit ones, bananas, apples, I think there's a pear, and the orange. Just a plastic fruit with some sort of beads inside. And then you can get various tube shakers. I've got a box full of those that I couldn't find, that I've collected over the years. I mean, if you can imagine, over 50 years, this is just part of what I've collected. But I've got various plastic and metal tubes of different lengths that you can shake. And I really like those. Something kind of similar is a rain stick. This is an LP rain stick. It's a really long one. It's a gentle sort of sound. But if you get the beads sort of all through there, it makes a great shaker. Very gentle sound. The natural ones are usually made out of a cactus. They pluck off the picker spines and then they hammer them inside, and then they put seeds in there and they'll work like that. No, the last one I'm going to show you is my favorite, which is probably the strangest but most simple one. These are pocket shakers from Remo, the drumhead company. And what it is, they were probably playing around one day at the factory, as people do when they invent things. it's some plastic drumhead fabric that they've sewn together and put some sort of beads in there, probably metal. And these are great. It's funny, I worked at a music store in the early 2000s, and they had a whole box full of these that weren't selling, so they were going to throw them out. And I said, can I have those? They said, sure. So I've got a whole box full of these. These are probably like $6 a piece back then. It's kind of a crazy price. That's why they didn't sell. But I really like them. I think they're really versatile, easy to use, and they're small. They fit in your case real well. But Pocket Shaker by Remo, if you can find them, it's a great little thing. So that's just some basic shaker types and sounds. And as I said, there's hundreds of variations of shakers out there, man-made and natural materials. So, check them out. Find what you like, what sort of sound you are attracted to, and you can use it. So now I'd like to, just talk about some playing techniques that I use. I have certain techniques that work really well for me in the way I play. So I'm going to just demonstrate that. Let's just take these maracas here. He's got a nice bright sound. So obviously, just up and down. And if you do a quick flick, you get more one sound. Where if you go this way, up and down, you get that back and forth shake. You can always baby rattle type shake. You can do kind of a swirl. Do a combination. And swirl one. Get a real sharp shake with another. And you can see I'm shaking up and down, but I'm also going in a circular motion. And I can do that with any of these type of techniques. So this one's doing more of a circle, getting a whoosh, 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 and then just a snap here. And you can hold them however you want to get different effects. You can mute them, open one and a muted one. Move your hands back and forth to change the sound. Like this one with the little skin end, I can play it open. I can mute it with my finger and thumb on the end. I can mute the whole thing. Here I'm just muting the ends. I can mute the body. So a big part of that is just muting things, changing the sound, and then changing your direction and your movements. And that's something I like to do. Now you can play more of a rhythmic thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Just giving a little snap when I want that accent. Or just more of a lazy sort of. And again, we could, you know, whatever you want to hold. So you can combine, you know, all the different things. Okay, we're going to do some playing and kind of incorporate some of these rattles here. So I hope you've enjoyed that look into the world of shakers and rattles. I hope that's given you some ideas, some inspiration that you can take to your own sessions and integrate into it. And as always, there are no rules. There's just your own innate creativity and tapping into that sort of primordial past that we are all a part of. So thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next It's Cuppa Time.